Rebecca Zornow is selfless, committed, generous, honest, intelligent, and bold. She's an advocate for women's rights, marginalized populations, the impoverished, for her local community. Seldom do we see an individual with this depth of variety of involvement in the community. The list is long. Rebecca has devoted her full life to making her community a better place. Rebecca is an avid community volunteer promoting education, the arts, and global understanding in our community. Each year, in memory of her daughter, Rebecca identifies a need in the community that relates to children. Rebecca has led projects benefiting the NICU at St. Elizabeth's Hospital, Birth to 3 Early Intervention, Building for Kids Children's Museum, and Appleton Park and Rec. Rebecca's nominator is Jane Zornow.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Rebecca Zornow, and I'm going to be a little bit rebellious by answering the second question first. And I think that to have true change in our communities, we have to have two things that go hand in hand: lifelong learning and awareness. And lifelong learning only comes when we make ourselves uncomfortable and when we take those chances and those moments to do something to better ourselves, but then also to be more aware of what's going on around us. I grew up in Appleton, and when it came time to apply for colleges, I really did not want to go to Lawrence University. But I ended up going to Lawrence University because it was a great school. And I thought, like, wow, I'm just, here in Appleton still. And my husband and I had the opportunity to go into the Peace Corps. And we lived in Eswatini, which is a small country in southern Africa, for 2 years and worked at a rural primary school there. And when it came time to leave the Peace Corps to decide where are we going to go next, Peace Corps gives you a ticket. They say that they'll fly you anywhere, you don't necessarily have to go home. And so we made this big wall in our house with all these sticky notes about cities across the world, cities across the country, housing prices, crime statistics. We were very serious about it. And everything kept leading us back to Appleton. And we knew that in our hearts we really wanted to be back at home to see our families, but also to go back and see what we could do for our own community. And I know that the projects I've chosen to work on over the last several years, this last portion of my life, have been directly impacted by what I've seen in the Peace Corps and with a rural community I work with in Haiti with a school down there as well as traveling to other locations. I think that we have to constantly be thinking about what somebody else's perspective is. We have to be thinking about how to see our own community with fresh eyes. This is a really great place. There's so much volunteerism here. There's so much passion. But we cannot see those problems sometimes unless we come back in, even metaphorically, with fresh eyes to be aware of what challenges there are. This first question is very easy for me to answer. It's my daughter, Lydia, and I think it's interesting that a lot of us highlighted mothers and children and parents because you have that unconditional love for those individuals. And I think that having that relationship is something that really, completely changes your perspective. But one of the things that I strive to remind myself as a mother and a woman is to have that unconditional love for myself as well. My daughter died when she was 5 days old, and I don't get to say her name enough, so I'm glad to be able to share about her up here. But the way that I feel about her is just huge, all-encompassing love. And it's not because she went to the right college, and it's not because she got that perfect job where she has that great house with the dog and all of the great things that go along with it. It's because she's a person. It's because she's enough no matter what experience she had in her life, no matter how short that was cut. And as a woman, especially an American woman, I think that it takes a daily reminder to remind yourself that you are enough. And that's something that I really, truly have to say to myself every day, and it shouldn't be that hard. And so I think that a lot of the women in this room can make a big difference in the next generations that is coming up, to tell them that they are enough, always, no matter what.